Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway World. I am sitting with another one of my favorite people who work in the theater, not only as an actor, but as a director. And he is nominated this year for Best Actor in a Play for his incredible performance in Lackwanna Blues, which of course he also wrote. It is good to see you, my friend, as always.
It's good to be here. It's good to be. You have you don't have the colored one, though. They got to get you the colored one.
I need the other one, like I said. But like I said, I like to keep all these things. You know how it is. These are, it has been so great to go back to a theater. You were one of the first shows to open where we could sit in a house, get a playbill, sit, watch the lights go down. What did it mean to you to be a part of this season? Season that brought Broadway back.
It was reciprocated because you know how it felt for me to walk on that stage and be welcomed by an eager audience who were just anxious and excited to be back in the theater and to experience this common experience together, this social experience and interaction. And then I walked out. I mean, before I walked out, when they started clapping forever, before I can even come out, I said, wow, they really want to be here. Yeah. And the only thing that could top that is how bad I wanted to be there. Yeah. And I don't know if it could top it, but I met them. So it meant a lot. It was a sacrifice to put my play up early because I knew that I would be facing a fearful audience as far as they wouldn't come in the masses initially, and that I would see something that I hadn't seen in the history of Lackwanna Blues, which would be empty seats. And I did see those. We did everything in our power to make sure that there weren't too many. Yeah. And eventually, there were not many because, with all of the problems I'd had with my back and stuff, then the audience, as soon as I got momentum, then I stopped momentum, then I had to build it again. But when I built it up again, it was ridiculously beautiful.
Because everybody who came early on wanted to be there. And like I said, you were one of the first shows to open where people were like, I don't know if I want to go back. I don't really know. But, you brought so much joy to so many people. Because I saw your show early on, and I went back to see your show. And it was just to watch. The great thing about watching your show was the young audience that was there. You brought a lot of young theater audiences, so maybe the first time that was seeing a show, what that meant to you of introducing a whole new audience to the theater.
It was very important. The lifeblood of the theater is human beings walking into the theater. So there's no theater without a performance and an audience. And this audience who have been so supportive of theater for decades and decades are now saying it's harder to get here. So who is going to carry the mantle? Who's going to carry it, the torch from here? And it's the younger people, and particularly in the BIPOC community, those kids who cannot afford to get in. And MTC has a great educational program where they bring in a lot of students, and a lot of the not-for-profits do. So, I'm adamant about it. Dominique is adamant about it when we did Skeleton Crew. So we wanted the next generations to know that there's some ownership in this thing called theater and art, that you are worthy, that there are people that look like you up there, people that matter to you up there, and not just entertainment, but enlightenment. And so it meant a lot to bring the young people. But, a big thing, though, Richard, I have to tell you, the amount of single-ticket buyers that came to see Lackwanna Blues overwhelmed the subscribers. I'm looking at everybody, so you go to a not-for-profit, you got the subscribers. They're going to come big time. They did not come big time. 90% of my tickets coming in for a long time were people who just came up and said, I'm here to see Lackwanna Blues, and that guy, whatever his name is, I want to see that. And it set the path open for Skeleton Crew.
Yeah. What did you enjoy the most this time around with Lackwanna Blues?
What I enjoyed the most is I was in a real funk from the pandemic, and what seemed to give me the most joy was all of a sudden I was enraptured by not only an audience but by a spirit and a soul that was Nanny, and all these people that said, Junior, we got you. We got you, little fella. We're with you. You will not fail. You will not fall. And we love you. And so I not only got the love from the people out front, which was overwhelming, but I got the love spiritually from my life and the people in my life that made me.
Because what inspired you originally to write this? I don't think you and I have spoken about this.
Well, I had been telling this story forever because, people never believed that I lived in a rooming house and that these people, this man with a tongue, this man with no fingers, this man with one no leg, and, they would be like, yeah, Ruben, yeah, Ruben, yeah, Ruben. And so it was just always fun telling it. And after a while, I was missing Nanny so much. She died in 1989, and it was like 1999. Yeah. And I was saying, I miss her so much. And I was telling the story to John Diaz, and he was like, at the public, and he was like, we got to go talk to George. This is a play. you know, and he said, why would you want to write the play, Ruben? I said, I don't want anybody to ever forget Nanny. Or the women like Nanny, or the men like Nanny, or the people, the human beings that fortified what it meant to be human, that gave everything of themselves to make sure you had something, you know, and I didn't want people to forget them, but personally and selfishly it was Nanny. And I wanted to write this love letter so when I'm gone, somebody can pick that up and say, wow, there was this lady that lived and helped and made something out of this little boy. And he went out. The only reason, well, not the only reason, but a big reason I'm successful is because I never wanted to let her down. I never wanted to fail because I wanted to make her proud.
Yeah. Because not only you're up for Best Actor, but you play dozens of characters in this show. This is what I love about your show. You know, one-person shows, I've spoken to Vanessa Redgrave about this and many others, and she said early on, she goes, the toughest thing was being in the rehearsal room when there's only your director and you're sitting there and you either get a laugh or you don't get a laugh, and you can't time the show, really. So she would put up cutouts of people that she could look at in different areas, like when she would tell a story. So early on for you, I mean, was it challenging for you to write this and then present it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's challenging if whatever I do.
Yeah. When
I do Leontes in Winter's Tale, it's challenging. Whatever I do is challenging. Kane Weldon, 7 guitars. But it's a different challenge.
Yeah.
Because I have responsibilities in 3 areas. And I have to protect those 3 areas and singularly deal with those areas at times, which seem like schizophrenic, but I would say, I'm the writer. Look at this the way the writer has to look at it and take notes from the director. Okay, I'm the director. But my good audience is, you know, Gabriel Vega-Wiseman, who was my associate on it, and Bill Sims Jr., when he was here. You know, they were the best audience in the world because Bill would like almost fall out of his chair at certain things because he knew these people as well as I did. He's from Marion, Ohio. Bill would know every story and would have a story similar from his hometown. And Gabriel was like this young, excitable young director who was like, wow, 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 and just fell in love with it. Yeah. So I had a great audience. And plus, you know, I tickle myself sometime. You know, when you came to see the play, sometimes I get tickled. Because I start remembering, you know, opposed to being inside the story where I was the scared little boy watching this man with the keys go crazy and break up everything in the house, where I'm scared he's going to kill Nanny. That was a different feeling. My feeling now is on the outside saying, Nanny had this thing the whole time. When she sat him down and said, here, eat this cornbread and hush up all that noise. This is not me being an incredible writer. It's having an incredible memory. Yeah. And being able to make it poetic, being able to make it theater. August Wilson did the same thing with his work. He took black life and made it theater and made it poetic. Broke it down structurally, broke it down dynamically, broke it down technically, and made our lives of people of color poetry and theater. And so that's what I had to do with Lackwanna Blues. But I had John Diaz initially as my dramaturg. George Wolfe was the producer. You know, Loretta Greco was directing at the time. So I had a great team around me. And then once I took it over, you know, once I had built myself up as a director and said, well, I got to hire a director. And I was thinking, and a little birdie told me, and it wasn't me, the birdie, it was somebody very close to me, said, you like one of the finest directors out there, could you do it? And I'm like, well, I got to figure out how to do that. So Gabriel walked my paces. Once he saw me do it, he memorized everything I did. And he would just walk, the way I sit down, the way I get up, when I move. And I'd be doing lines, you know, 1956, no, move, no, Gabe, on 4, get to that chair at 4. 1956, Lackwanna Blues, you know, and then he was like, that's it. Lift it easy. I said, turn that corner, don't rush. Turn the corner, realize, see something. So I'm teaching him as I'm going along. Then once he did it, and my designers could put the sound and light to it, then I saw it, then we would talk, me and Jen or Carnahan, whoever, and then I would walk on stage, you know, Darren, and I would just walk on stage and trust them. Wow. You know, because they would show it to me with Gabe, and then I'd say, we'd make this adjustment, too much red there, just a touch. What color is blue? Too deep blue. Go to blue 6. No, blue 7. Keep it there. And then I would go on stage and trust that they did it. And they did it.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So, this is the thing that sometime I have to stop sometime and get away from that thought. But I did something that never had been done on Broadway. Yeah. Never. White, black, otherwise, the Barrymores or whoever. No one has ever written, directed, and starred in a play on Broadway. Ever. And I ain't heard a word about it. Yeah. That's history. That's history. You know, and so my wife said, don't say that because then it'd be like you're tooting your own horn. I said, it is to a certain degree, but I want us as theater historians and theater people to take notice when things change, when things move forward in a different way. When Jitney was on Broadway, it was the first time a writer wrote 10 plays and all 10 were produced. Now, people have written 40 plays and 14 were produced, but no one's written 10 and batted 1,000. Did we make that acknowledgement? Yeah. So we have to acknowledge these things, and it even means it has even greater impact when it's BIPOC people who have been on the periphery,
sure,
who have not had access. So for us to break that wall down, and for me to do this, and it'll be forgotten. And somewhere in the history book, some kids will look up and say, "I'm gonna do this. It's never been done." And somebody said, "Well, Ruben Santiago-Hudson did it, in 2021." But I just wanted people to know that happened, whether they acknowledge me or not. I want people to know that something new happened.
What does this Tony nomination mean to you? Like I said, this is the first season. You helped bring Broadway back. This will never happen again, the way this happened this year. What does this mean to you?
I'm exceedingly happy that my work is acknowledged, because my work was not work of entertainment, but in recollection and enlightenment of the lives of those people who get pushed away. So for people to say that's valuable, when they give you a Tony nom, they say that mattered to us. That was one of the best we saw. And for people to give credence and give credit to these salt of the earth people, these blue collar hardworking people, said that's worthy theater. It means a lot to me. But I've been in the game now over 4 decades here in New York, and it's like I look around and see these incredible artists that don't have the luxury of being on Broadway or being noticed or getting. It's almost expected in my house for my kids, that. I said, did you watch the nominations? They said, no, we know you're going to get. No, it's not, because they come and see it and they figure that work. Yeah. And plus, they're my kids, and my wife and everybody. They almost take it for granted, and I say, you can never take it for granted, because there's so many people that are as worthy as I am that didn't get the nod. But this year, to see those 7 black plays open up Broadway gave me so much hope.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I could talk to you forever. I just want to
talk to me forever, man. Talk to me forever.
I want to thank you for what you've done and what you do. And like I said, Lackwanna Blues came at the most perfect time, and we were there at the beginning of it. You brought an audience back to the theater, and that was the most important thing. And you got to direct this season too.
Yeah, and I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew. Let me explain this to you right quick. Just the music. What happened with the music would bust your brain open. I took 4 artists, stuck them in a room, pulled them together and said, I want machine sounds from Auto Factories, Rob Kaplowitz. I want hip-hop from Detroit, Jimmy Keys. I want a beatboxer, a Chesney Snow. And I want a Dessler to go in there and stand with them and create this music, to show me where does machine and man meet. And, I mean, people just think, man, grab this music and threw it in there. That music took weeks. And I'm in a rehearsal room rehearsing, and then I'd walk over and say, let me hear it. And the Dessler would be in the corner doing his moves, and I would say, easy there, easy with that. Come in a little bit. I don't know what that job is you just showed me. Got to be clear what you're doing. Now it's not enough bottom on that. And Chesney, take some of the machines out. Chesney, give me more of this. The music is so intricate. It's so incredibly intricate. Just if people actually knew what happened, that might have had 27 nominations. But I love that crew, and I miss that crew. And that was the ultimate joy, to be able to walk out of Lackwanna Blues and then walk across the hall to another room, and those people would meet me there and give me all they had,
It was brilliant. I loved Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton Crew, man. Anyway.
I could talk to you forever, like I said, my friend. Congratulations on all of this. Ruben, good to see you as always, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.